Hay una empresa que por décadas se ha introducido en los diferentes niveles de la producción y reproducción de audio, en la industria musical, cinematográfica, en equipos de casa y personales, Harman. En esta ocasión nos invitaron a su sede en Los Ángeles, la fuente de productos de diferentes marcas que componen el grupo Harman, como marcas Levinson, Revel, Lexicon y JBL. Aquí nacen literalmente las ideas que más tarde se convertirán en equipos de audio. Aquí se hace desde la investigación de las necesidades y deseos del mercado, la estimación del costo de producto y venta, la definición de las características y el diseño hasta la creación del prototipo, las pruebas de funcionalidad y los ajustes necesarios para crear el producto final. Un proceso que puede ir de 18 meses a 3 años, que involucra decenas de personas expertas en su ramo y una gran infraestructura. Esta sede de Harman, enfocada en la megafonía, cuenta, por ejemplo, con varias cámaras anecroicas, habitaciones especiales en donde se puede obtener el sonido más puro y limpio que produce una bocina. Estuvimos en una de ellas, la más pequeña. Aquí estamos en una cámara anacroica en la que se elimina todo el sonido del cuarto. No hay rebotes. Voy a salir para que escuchen cómo cambia mi voz y se empieza a meter el cuarto. Es increíble estar acá. En esta visita nos acompañó Jim Garrett, director de estrategia y planeación de producto, una de las piezas fundamentales de Harman y una de las personas que mejor conocen los productos que salen de ahí. Jim nos enseñó que a lo que suena una bocina depende 50% de la bocina y 50% del espacio donde está situada la bocina. Esto porque los muebles y materiales que rodean una bocina hacen que el sonido rebote de distintas maneras. Un factor determinante para manufacturar equipo de audio es saber a qué suena una bocina descartando todas esas variantes. Esa es la función de las cámaras anecroicas. En esta visita tuvimos la oportunidad de conocer, antes de su salida al mercado, el nuevo orgullo de JBL, un equipo de sonido surround diseñado para las nuevas generaciones de audiófilos, especialmente concebido para ser parte del equipo de audio de millennials y generación Z. Una particularidad de este producto es que se trata de un producto de precio accesible, pero diseñado por el mismo equipo que se encarga de la gama de lujo de JBL, que cuenta con equipos que llegan a los cientos de miles de dólares. Encomendar la creación de este producto al equipo de lujo viene de la necesidad de JBL por innovar la categoría de sonido surround, y el resultado se resume en simplicidad, modernidad y accesibilidad sin comprometer la calidad. Este equipo cuenta con un par de canales de audio que representan la más reciente innovación en el sonido surround de los últimos 10 años, bocinas de elevación. Estas bocinas dirigen el sonido hacia el techo de una habitación, engañando a nuestros oídos para percibir el origen del sonido desde arriba, y que junto con los demás canales provenientes del resto de las bocinas, contribuyen a crear una burbuja de sonido que genera una inmersión completa. Presenciamos un paso más en la historia de JBL y nos sentamos a platicar con Jim Garrett para conocer un lado más personal de una de las personas responsables de este hito. Jazz en las rocas. El jazz no es para conocedores, es para quien lo quiere escuchar. Ok, gracias a todos por estar aquí con nosotros. Estamos en JBL, en las oficinas de Harman Group en Northridge, California, en Los Ángeles, y estoy aquí con Jim Garrett, Senior Director of Product Strategy and Planning. Got it right. Jim, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
All good. Thank you. Thank you for having us here. It's an amazing facility. I'm been watching and listening to some amazing equipment that he is responsible of everything, getting it to like produce it, design it, engineer it.
Más o menos.
Más o menos. With his team. Obviously, he's not the one-man army.
Yep.
But he has an amazing team right outside here. This room where we are at. This is a home cinema, but it's all made up just for here. And we're drinking out of some Mark Levinson's 40-year anniversary glasses.
A vintage glassware set.
Nice.
Yes.
Some mezcal. So,
Yes.
salud.
Salud.
Again. Bueno, estamos acá en Northridge porque nos invitaron para ver cómo sucede el equipo que podemos tener en nuestras casas de JBL, de AKG, de Harman. Las oficinas aquí son enormes, tienen un montón de lugares donde se pueden hacer pruebas. Estoy fascinado con todo lo que hemos visto. Ya estarán viendo en nuestras redes sociales la cámara anacroica, un montón de cosas. But Jim, I'm here to talk about you because you're a musician as well, right?
Yes.
Before becoming the senior director here in JBL.
Yes, exactly.
Tell me, well, how did you get into music? What happened?
Was
responsible?
I suppose my mother. So, but I've been into music my whole life. I started playing drums when I was 5 years old.
Okay.
I think that was a result of me banging on anything and everything around the house. And so my mom got me a proper drum kit, and I started playing from there.
Okay.
And I've been in bands my whole life, still to this day. It's lucky for me that I have a hobby that has become my professional career. So
Amazing.
I'm involved in creating music on my own on the weekends with my band, and then here at work, create products to share music for people all over the world.
Any genres you prefer, or you play just
Boy,
about
I
anything?
am everything. So the band that I'm in right now, we play just about anything.
Okay.
Pop, rock, dance, alternative, disco. There's an occasional country song, which is amazing because everyone can line dance. I don't know why this happens, but so yeah, we play a little bit of everything. So.
Okay. And how did you got from music into JBL? Was it from music to JBL, or was like a parallel career you got there?
Yeah, so for me, I originally went to school for architecture,
Mm-hmm.
is what I was starting with, and I had a chance to do some internships and found that it just really wasn't what I thought it was going to be. And again, I'd been into music my whole life. I was always I started in car audio, as many of us do. I was always into home audio, and I kind of looked for how could I get out of school with something that was pretty good, you know? I happened to go to a university that was very well known for film and television production and audio production. So I thought I can get out of school with that degree. And so that's where I started. And then once I got out of school, it was like, well, I'm going to have to move to New York or LA or someplace to work for it. I didn't want to do it at the time. And a small company named Best Buy had come to town and was hiring people. I knew a lot about audio and interviewed and became the audio department supervisor. And so that kind of started me on my audio
Where
journey.
was that?
That was in Indianapolis, Indiana.
You are from there? You were born there?
Yeah, I was born and raised there.
In
So,
Indianapolis.
yeah.
Cheers
Home
to
of the
that.
Indy 500. So
Okay, yep.
if you like auto racing. So yeah, that's kind of how it started. And I spent 7-8 years probably on the retail side, and then moved to the manufacturing side with a major loudspeaker manufacturer that's not a Harman brand.
Okay, so we won't mention it.
We won't mention that.
It almost didn't happen.
Yeah. And so I spent many years there, but I've been on the manufacturing side ever since. So I'm, 30 plus years probably in this industry now. I've been always working, for major audio companies. I've been with Harman for 14 years now.
Okay.
And interestingly enough, so after I left Best Buy, I worked at a specialty hi-fi retailer. So we did car audio, we did 2-channel home theater, custom installation types of products. We were a dealer for Mark Levinson, Lexicon, and some of the high-end brands that are owned by the Harman portfolio. So many years later, when I had the chance and I saw the opportunity to get a job here, it was working for those specific brands that I used to sell.
Okay.
So I was excited about it and said, the chance to be responsible for creating products under these world famous brands.
So I would say the brands outside in.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I'd come from the customer side. Now I'm responsible for creating the products. But that's where it all started from. So.
Okay, I think JBL specifically, it has it's in the, I don't know, some of the later years, let's say 5 years ago, it started rekindling somehow, because I started noticing it with new products and the consumer side. What happened? Why was it dormant?
No, not necessarily. I mean, it's always been one of the most famous brands in audio. On the professional side, we've been known forever as, the experts. So in recording studios, our studio monitors are legendary. In the 60s, 70s, and 80s, most of the popular recordings were done in the studio using JBL studio monitors. In movie theaters.
So that's where everything comes from.
That's where a lot of it comes from on the pro side of the business, right? We've always been in consumer audio, but a big part of the business on the pro side. Live sound. You go to a concert listening to JBL products. You go to a movie theater listening to JBL products. Recording studios, JBL products. And then we'd always made products for the home. I think where it really started to change and the awareness really started to grow is when we got into some of the newer categories like portable Bluetooth speakers and headphones and things like that. We're very dominant in those markets today. So the awareness has grown exponentially for the brand. And you have a very young customer base now that's grown up with JBL products, either, again, portables, headphones, soundbars, and is working their way into the types of products that we do in our business unit here.
Okay, I'm going to change the subject. Of all the brands, the Harman Group portfolio, is JBL your preferred one, your most loved one?
Well, this is the big brand of everything that we have. In my particular business unit that we work in, we're responsible for multiple brands, of course, but JBL is still the biggest brand and the most well-known that we have. But yeah, we're responsible for Mark Levinson, we're responsible for Arkham, we're responsible for Revel, and then JBL Synthesis on our high-end home cinema solutions. That's also one of our brands.
Okay, walk me through each of these brands really quickly with, how about Mark Levinson? What sets it apart?
So Mark Levinson is known for component audio. The company's been around about 52 years now, and it's really the best of the best when it comes to electronics on that side of it. So preamplifiers, power amplifiers, those types of things. So that's ultimate performance. That's like hypercar, supercar.
Okay.
High-end liqueurs. So that's what we would have with Mark Levinson. Yep.
Okay. Then...
So a couple of other brands. So if we talk about JBL Synthesis, again, that is a custom turnkey, tailored suits, if you will, of the home theater world. So if you wanted to build a home entertainment system in your house, best of the best that you could have, that would be a JBL Synthesis system, which is everything, the entire audio system, all designed and engineered JBL Synthesis products. The surround processor, the amplification, the loudspeakers, we go in and custom calibrate and tune the room when it's done. So that's the best possible experience you could have in a home cinema system.
Nice.
So
it's good to know. So if any of you eventually want to make a home cinema, you should turn to a JBL.
Absolutely.
Synthesis.
Absolutely. JBL Synthesis, And that really came from the pro side. So as I mentioned, the JBL brand is involved at every phase of content creation and playback. So this was another thing where the people that were making movies and television wanted a system they could screen their works at home, but they didn't feel like it was the same experience as what they were getting in their professional environments or in their, in a movie theater when the stuff was played back. So because we were creating those products, we said, well, we can make the ultimate screening room for your home.
And here in LA, like for the actual producer of the film.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Directors, anybody involved in creating the content, all the Hollywood A-listers, they ended up putting these systems in their home. So that it came out of the professional side of our business. So
coolness.
Yep.
Okay. Which other brand should we?
Arkham. So Arkham's a very legendary British hi-fi brand, started in 1976. So it's coming up on its 50-year anniversary. Primarily known, again, for amplification, source players. They were one of the first brands to build compact disc players in the UK. Legendary brand in that respect and very well known in the hi-fi world. But also, we make some AVRs at the premium part of the market that are very well respected as well. So Revel, the other one. So that's another loudspeaker brand. One of the few brands actually founded by Harman. So that was a brand that shortly after the acquisition of the Mark Levinson brand, we said we wanted to create a loudspeaker brand that was kind of commensurate with Mark Levinson on the electronic side. Okay. And at the time, Harman had the best resources in the world to develop loudspeakers. So we created a brand from scratch, which was the Revel brand.
With all the experience you've got.
Yeah. Yep. All the research, the resources that we have here, we used that to create that brand from scratch.
So at this moment, things that go into those brands are being made right here.
Yeah, so this is our acoustics engineering center of excellence. So any of the loudspeakers that we do are developed in this facility. And we have another similar facility in Cambridge, England that manages electronics primarily. Except for Mark Levinson. Mark Levinson Electronics are also done in this facility.
Okay.
Yep.
So on the personal side, what does it feel? What is it like to be part of these amazing products that, because you're a musician, I'm sure you understand that you're giving music to people like on the best possible quality. Would you say it is the quality or how would you describe it?
Well, for me as a musician, I love music. It flows through my veins, and every aspect from the moment I wake up till, I go to bed, and probably when I dream at night has something related to do with music. So for me, music is this shared experience. It sits above cultures, language, anything. It's something that everybody knows and can relate to. And for me, being somebody that's responsible for creating content, and I've played music my entire life, the satisfaction of being able to share that experience with other people. Just music is always something that takes your mind to another place. It brings back memories of important events in your life that can be triggered just by listening to a song, right? It's like, I remember that from my high school years or my wedding or whatever it was. Yeah, and immediately you're drawn back. It can change your mood, right? You're in a bad mood, you can listen to a piece of music that can lift up your spirits, Maybe you're working out, doing sports. There's a particular type of music you want to listen to. So it's just everything about your life. And I enjoy being able to share that with people all around the world.
Okay, coolness. Quick question, surprise question. Because we're a jazz podcast.
Yeah.
From the beginning.
Yep.
Any jazz record you would recommend for anyone who wants to get into jazz?
Oh boy, it's hard to say. So as a drummer, I can play about every type of music except jazz.
Yeah, it's really hard and it's
like
set apart.
A foreign language, right?
Yep.
So it is a very specific genre. You're into it, you're not. And there's so many people that you like jazz or you don't, and there's the people that don't like jazz. Jazz is the sound of someone throwing a piano down a flight of stairs, right?
Exactly.
I don't get it. But there's so much subgenres that exist within the jazz genre as a whole that I think there's something that a lot of people can find. There could be more modern jazz, contemporary jazz, traditional things. So you can get to the classic stuff. We always use Dave Brubeck, Take 5 and things like that. Probably one of the most famous jazz songs that people are going to know, and a very famous song in an odd time signature, right?
Yeah.
So things like that are there, but I think if you really start to listen to it, there's a lot of modern elements of, again, we get into those subgenres of smooth jazz, modern jazz, contemporary jazz.
Any preferred ones do you have?
I tend to like the more contemporary stuff that kind of gets out of it a little bit. This will be a completely obscure one for you. So I was in Canada in my college years and was listening to a Canadian station at the time, and they were playing some more modern contemporary jazz. And I stumbled upon a trio from Canada called UZEB.
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 Okay.
And they were more...
We'll have to look into it.
It's a good one, right? A little bit obscure, but they do some traditional stuff. So they on this particular album, it's more electronic focused. So it's guitar, bass, drums, a little bit of effects.
More electronic focus. We hear a lot of more contemporary, just electronic stuff.
Yeah, so you get...
it's
still kind of... It's not like a traditional... where it's going to be upright bass, piano, drums kind of thing, but maybe a more modern version of it. So, and I listened to it and I found it really interesting. And then they actually did traditional song, Goodbye Pork Pie Hat, that they did as a traditional rendition, acoustic instruments, brushes on the drums, acoustic bass, acoustic guitar. We actually now are using that as one of the demo cuts that we do on some of these systems. And one of the guys here, Mark Glazier, who's one of our acoustic engineers, huge guy into classical music. About the only thing he can really listen to a classical and a little bit of traditional jazz. So, and I've always find it hard to connect with him to find music that he and I like, right? I'm pop rock, metal, that kind of stuff. So, and I played this cut for him and he's like, that's fantastic. And it was a song he knew, a traditional jazz number, but he found it very, very good. So now we've turned to using that for a demo cut on there. So if anyone wants to explore, again, UZEB. Noisy Nights is the name of the album.
Okay.
Goodbye Pork Pie Hat is the particular cut off that album. So, fantastic little piece of jazz. So,
aquí va a estar la recomendación. Búsquenla. Vamos a poner un link. Díganos si les gusta, si no les gusta. Queremos oír. Es algo nuevo. I can't wait to jump into it. So, thank you for your time.
Yes.
Thanks for our sponsor for this talk, Mark Levinson.
Yep.
Thank Jim for having us. It's amazing what you're doing here, like the vibe and being able to see how it's done, how it's conceived. Well, thank you. It's a really good opportunity.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Gracias
por su tiempo. Nos vemos pronto.
Jazz en las Rocas. Agradecemos la invitación y la hospitalidad a Grupo Harman.